we are...
It's just really exciting.
I think we're live. Wait for it. It says that we're live, but there's nothing coming through. There we are. Okay. Just want to make sure. Yeah, volume's down. Okay. Well, welcome everyone to a live recording of episode 110, and already Ruben's joined the chat. So speaking of Ruben, we wish Ruben could be here, but unfortunately,
very sad.
Work obligations. He's not able to be here. So Ruben, we're sorry that you're not here.
Ruben, missing you incredibly.
That's right, Ruben. We miss you and we love you and we hope you're well. I'm just going to reach over here, Andrew, and just put ourselves on this channel because we're going to need this other computer to look at the movie. So how you doing, Andrew? So, as I'm
doing fantastic. It's very exciting to be here. I miss Ruben, but I'm still very, very excited to be here. Very happy.
Agreed. So, Ruben, we're sorry that you're not here.
Ruben, missing you incredibly.
Oh.
Feedback.
We love you. Just wait. There it is.
What's going on?
There it is. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
Oh, headphone malfunction.
We are not Joe Rogan. I am not Joe Rogan. All right. So, we're really excited. We're going to continue right into where we left off with Rocky 5. Rocky is selling everything. Mm-hmm. This is the biggest garage sale in history. So, again... Do you remember where we are right now, Andrew?
Yeah, okay. Of course. I mean, I missed a few really, really important episodes, a couple that I was like really hoping to be involved in. But yeah, I know these movies like the back of my hand. I know exactly what's lurking around the corner. I don't want to spoiler alert anybody out there who hasn't been up to speed with this, so we'll leave it up to them.
Sure. I think if anyone's actually watching this video, number one, if anyone actually watched the video. Number two, we do have listeners of our show, and I have always said I don't think there's anyone listening to our show that isn't extremely familiar with Rocky and Rocky 5 and what's going on. But there are people who haven't seen the movie in quite some time. I know, so there are listeners who are listening to each episode. They're like, oh yeah, that part. Because I think Rocky 5 is probably the least viewed.
It's the least viewed, for sure, without a doubt. The one thing about Rocky 5 is I've seen it so many times as well, because this one's made it onto television. Right. In the recent years so many times, whereas the others have sort of fell off. Okay. You don't see them on television as much, and nobody watches television anymore. No. Anyway, I think it was in the more recent years that I was watching that, but I definitely revisit Rocky plenty. So I saw this one. Just a couple months ago I watched it. I think it was before I came to do the last podcast.
Oh, nice.
I watched it from start to finish.
I'm finding that I'm enjoying watching this in piecemeal and discussing it. I'm enjoying the movie more than I thought I was going to. I think this season I was anticipating a lot of we've made jokes and had some fun with the naked French teacher and things like that. And those things are coming, but for the most part I'm enjoying this film and then seeing the heart that it is, because after reviewing parts 3 and 4 so much, and seeing just kind of how those are so crazy and they don't seem to be grounded in the same reality that 1 and 2 are. So 5 at the very least puts us back to having Rocky Balboa as a film and the Creeds as a film.
No, it's true. I saw Creed 2 last weekend. Oh, that was my first time.
Your thoughts?
Oh, it was. I mean, it doesn't disappoint. And the thing that I thought was really cool about it is it's its own movie,
right? But
it does carry and that going directly to what we're doing right now. We're looking at Rocky 5. Is that Rocky 5 has a different essence than 3 and 4. Right? And Creed captures the same essence of Rocky 5 and Rocky 1 and Rocky 2, is that it just was a lot more grittier, more real, you know? So I'm fresh off of a huge Rocky high. I remember just feeling really incredible after that movie was finished.
Nice.
And so I was really pumped to get the invitation for the next episode.
Oh, good. Well, here we go. So we're going into the auction of their stuff. Now, for the record, Stallone wanted the Rocky 4 robot for this scene. I think we mentioned that before. Mm-hmm. He wanted it here, and I think it would have been great to have it here. It's too bad he couldn't do a George Lucas and do a CGI imprint of the robot.
Maybe they'll do when they'll re-release the Rocky movies.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Do a CGI.
Yeah. They'll put in all the characters that Apollo will make a comeback somehow.
Oh, man. All right, here we go. Let's watch some of this.
May we hear our next bid, please? Are you done?
So, Sorry for my coughing.
Yeah,
Right
it's
away,
really, really troublesome.
I know. I've had this lingering, and I do a lot of podcast talking, and I feel it gets aggravated when I'm talking, obviously. So I'm always like. So this is a really cool shot even here, having Rocky Jr. sitting on the motorcycle, this infamous motorcycle that we saw in Part 3. If you remember, there's that montage at the beginning of Part 3 where Stallone is Rocky is riding with Adrian down the street.
No helmets.
I love it.
Just locks just flowing. He looked like a champion.
Both aren't wearing helmets, and hair's flowing. Both Stallone and Talia Shire's long flowing hair.
Yeah.
And so Rocky Jr. is sitting on this bike that's just been sold. You see there, oops, I pointed with my finger. You see there the sold sign. This is where the Rocky robot would have been, and maybe this scene would have been the son with the robot, crying that his companion or his friend was leaving, because the robot was supposed to be a gift for Stallone's son. I think is what it was.
No, it was for Paulie.
No, but I mean in real life.
Oh, okay, in real life. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Sorry.
I
think as far as the movie goes, though, like using the motorcycle was
it's probably a little bit more legit.
I think that motorcycle is great. Like in Rocky 3, it's one of the characters of the movie, in my opinion. It's like really Rocky kind of. It's the Italian stallion motorcycle.
Yeah,
it's all the Rocky colors.
Right. It got the stallion on the side, and. What I like too is we hear a background of an auctioneer, so we're to assume, we don't see it, but we're to assume there's a crowd of people somewhere on the property going through and essentially taking things off the walls and buying them.
Bunch of vultures, right?
Yeah.
You know what was really cool as well is like they've got the introspective Rocky movie, the original score, right, playing in the background, and it's like the emotions in this scene are pretty heavy, right?
Hey, shit. Bike's been sold. Hey, bike's been sold. Get off the bike. Come on.
What was the 25,000 for? I missed that. Did they say what it was for? Sorry. Let me hear that again.
Bike's been sold. Get off the bike. Come on.
Oh, sorry. I gotta hear that again because he actually the captions don't say, but he's talking.
Get off the bike. Come on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I heard Rocky Balboa something.
No, I think it's just sort of indiscriminate.
Don't worry about it. We've been down before. I'll get it all back.
So this is a terrible scene here because he says, "Don't worry about it. We've been here before." Well, not Rocky Jr.
Not Robert. Robert's a silver spoon kid.
Robert has never been here before. This is a completely new experience. And maybe Rocky's just saying, "We've been here before. We'll get it all back." No, you will not be getting it all back.
No, Robert has he's had no pain in his life.
No, he's had a very silver spoon's life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just gotta stick together, right? Home team.
Yeah, right.
Come on. You know, Mickey used to say a fight ain't over until you heard the bell. We ain't heard the bell yet, have we?
So there we go. They're selling his boxing gloves from his first heavyweight fight. That's pretty. That's pretty sad. A state of affairs that he has to sell that.
Yeah, this one I still remember seeing this in the theater and just like a 12-year-old, and I was terribly emotional about the whole thing. Like even now, I'm feeling, I think it's because I just saw Creed. And I got to, have my Rocky fix. It's like he's like one of my old friends,
right?
But just now, I'm just looking at this. I'm like, oh God, like how the mighty fall sometimes.
It's crazy. He's got to sell those gloves. But now we have a scene here for our. I'm speaking to our audio listeners. The next scene now looks like Rocky is in his attic. He's going through some stuff, memorabilia, the past, you could say. In a trunk of stuff. He's pulling out the old Rocky 1 gear. Now, what's your thoughts on this Rocky 1 gear scene?
I love it.
Brushing off dust off the hat. Fits like a glove.
Hey, it still fits.
Why are you wearing those clothes?
I was just going through some of the stuff up there and I found them and they feel kind of comfortable.
Well, I was looking all over for you downstairs. It's kind of depressing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, what's this doing in your ear?
All right, before we get to that scene, so what's your thoughts here? What Rocky's motive here for going through his clothes and putting them on? Why do you think he's doing this?
Well, I mean, obviously, there's a lot that's been going on building up to this one here. You know, like the retirement, the fight with Drago. Everything is so close to that still, right? And then for this to happen, I think that he's kind of he's retreating. The character is retreating within himself. He's lost all the stuff, and now he's kind of reconnecting with like the real Rocky.
Yeah.
You know, now all that stuff's gone, and what's left is that person, you know, like the character of Rocky and all the things that, you know, his virtue and everything is what, you know, throughout the whole entire series is what the fans always gravitated to, is that he had lots of heart and virtue and character, and that, you know, this moment here, it's kind of like he's retreating within himself. He's going backwards.
So Bud said here that he thinks he's depressed. He thinks Rocky might be feeling depressed.
Oh, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I feel a little depressed as well. I mean, maybe he was flying pretty high and
Sure.
come crashing down.
Lost millions. And what I love, though, is Adrian, you know, there's no resentment in her. She's not berating Rocky. You know, like, she give her full credit as a spouse for just being there for Rocky and truly showing Rocky that she loves him for him and not the money.
Yep. No,
She just say it's kind of depressing. I think what she's finding depressing is the house is empty.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, that all their stuff is literally being sold and taken away. And so now Rocky's got in his hands the glasses. Now, I guess it's possible that she could have kept those old glasses for all these years. Now, in the timeline of the Rocky universe, it has been about 15 years since they got married. So it's not beyond 14, 15 years since, you know, 76 was Rocky 1. It's now 1990. So it's been about 14 years since they've been married, and their son's about 14 in the film. So it kind of works out. The age of Sage Stallone kind of works out in the release of the film age, if that makes sense. So in a weird way, it kind of makes sense. I know.
We already talked about this. The timeline for the Rocky universe is kind of like...
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
But ironically, right now, it makes sense. So you could almost do Rocky 1, 2, and 5, and it would actually make sense.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So... That being said, it's not crazy to think that she would have these glasses all this time. You could have a pair of glasses for 15 years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So he's about to... I wonder if the prop department found the actual glasses that Talia Shire wore, or if these are just lookalikes.
We'll have to take a look. We'll have to do some investigating.
Yeah. Yeah. You. I remember when you took them off.
That's right. First time I ever kissed you, man. Kissed you. Adrian, I want to go out for a little bit, you know, just take a little walk. Just, I don't feel better, but hey, could you talk to the kid? Cause he's really taking this hard. You know? Okay.
Where are you going?
I thought I'd go to Andy's.
So he wants to go get his drink on.
He's gonna go to Andy's.
He's going to Andy's to get his drink on. Do you remember what the name of the other bar was in the original Rocky? I think it was called Lucky 7.
I think though.
You can Google that. You can be our Google guy. Ruben's not here, so you got to be the Google guy for Ruben.
Yeah. I'm ready to go here.
So he's gonna go get his drink on, regardless. So he gets a little bit. He's gonna get a little bit hammered. Take the sting out of losing millions of dollars.
Yeah, the Lucky 7 Tavern.
Yeah, Lucky 7. So here's Andy's bar. It's full of graffiti and everything. Now he's looking back at the bar here and kind of like want to fight. Like if that saunter he's got there is kind of like a. You know how drunk guys do that?
Yeah, they got a little drunk.
Yeah, but he's looking at nobody. but he's looking back into the bar, and you almost get the feeling he's getting that kind of, yeah, well, some other day I'll get you. Do you catch that posture that he has? Watch.
How did they blow it all?
See, someone's like chirping at him when he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
See, he's like, forget it. Forget those bums. Thoughts? It sounded like you're about to say something. And
No, I just think it's like he's definitely he's got him. He's a little dark spot right now.
Yeah.
You know, this is uncharacteristic for Rocky. Like, think about every Rocky movie we've seen. And,
Yeah.
You know, the scenes in the Rocky movies, he's never been intoxicated.
No. The last time we saw him drink was Rocky 1, where he was drinking in his apartment, even when he was going to fight.
Yeah, he's like, you don't drink that
piss.
Don't drink that piss.
Yeah, don't drink that piss before a fight.
Yeah.
That's from Mickey. But he's got no fights coming up.
Yeah, so he's, it's time for him to let loose now.
Yeah,
right?
He's going to let go. Build that gut for Copland. All right. So now he's looking at the gym. Mighty Mix. Yo, how you doing, Mick?
How you doing, Mick?
That's a great shot there.
Yeah, man.
So this music that's playing in the background right now, it's the same music that they used for the coma scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bill Conti, of course, is back for Rocky 5. So he's in Mick's gym. It's deserted, dilapidated, beer bottles. Some punching bags are still, lying around and hanging.
I really like this 1-2 he pulls out.
Yeah.
He's intoxicated, just boom! Look at that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Good call.
No gloves, no nothing. Just steps in. I wouldn't want to be on the business end of that.
No. So this gym is owned by Rocky Jr. Robert owns the gym.
Yeah, it's in Robert's name.
That's right.
That's how it escaped the... Mickey left it to Robert.
That's right. Now I'm going to pause it before we get to this, but we'll just watch this part here. Okay, so we know what's coming up. This scene, and I'm going to play it all the way through because I don't want to talk over it. So when we hit play, I want it to play all the way through because we'll talk about it before and after. So before we talk about it, I remember when I saw this in the theaters when I was 15, and I saw that Burgess Meredith as Mickey was coming. It was going to be in this film. Of course, I think I must have assumed at that age that yes, it was going to be a flashback. It's not going to be a zombie Mickey, even though it's pretty close. Burgess Meredith here is.
He looked pretty aged. And dated.
Yeah. So he had aged obviously since 1983 was his last appearance as Mickey. Now he's doing it again in 1990. So 7 years later. But this scene is probably the most touching and heartwarming scene in the franchise. And I would challenge anyone to pick a scene in the Rocky franchise that it's more, I don't know, sad and happy and powerful and everything all at once. Because, yeah, I don't want to say too much more. I want to watch it, and we'll talk about it after. But I want to talk about the filming of it first. Where in the timeline is this happening? What's your thoughts? Because it's never officially expressed. We know it's before the Apollo fight, but which one? Super Fight 1 or Super Fight 2?
Super Fight 2.
Agreed. What's your reasoning for that?
Is because Super Fight 2 is like... Super Fight 1 was a fluke. Even Mickey felt it was a fluke. And the second one around is they were trying to beat Apollo Creed.
Right.
And so Rocky and Mickey... it's the relationship between Rocky and Mickey. In number 2, they kind of solidified their bond together.
Yeah,
and Rocky always looked to, after that, he always looked to Mickey as his dad, kind of father figure.
Yeah.
Right. That's why this introspective scene is so poignant for the whole entire series. Is that it really showcases like that time there. That was when those two guys were like, hey, like we're together on this 100%.
Yeah, that's what I think. I've had some people say that this scene takes place before the first fight in Rocky 1. I disagree as well that it is in fact before Super Fight 2 because their relationship is so much more father-son and yeah. So let's watch it. So keep it in mind. I'd like to hear your thoughts, people. If you think it's Rocky 1 or Rocky 2, this flashback scene takes place. We got a couple comments here.
Oh, that
yeah,
comment.
of course. So, Heck, we're not going to say what you said. So, this was Heck Maldonado. We just want to let you know we read your comment. Rocky 5 is not what you said. We don't condone that type of talk. Jeremy Jason says, I watch this scene at least 2 or 3 times a week. It helps keep me motivated. That's awesome. That's the kind of talk we like to hear. And then Jeremy Jason says, do it for Mick. Okay. So, Jeremy, we're gonna play the scene right now, and let's watch it together. We're not gonna stop it.
Slip the jab. That's right. That's it. Hey, I didn't hear no bell. Okay. All right, that's right. Slip the jab. That's it. Mentalize. See that bum in front of you. You see yourself doing right, and you do right. That's pretty. That's very pretty. Time. Ah, come here, Rock. My God, you're ready, ain't you? That Apollo won't know what hit him. You're gonna roll over him like a bulldozer, an Italian bulldozer. You know, kid, I know how you feel about this fight that's coming up, because I was young once too. And I tell you something. Well, if you wasn't here, I probably wouldn't be alive today. The fact that you're here and doing as well as you're doing gives me, what do you call it, a motivation, huh? To stay alive. Because I think that people die sometimes when they don't want to live no more.
Nature's smarter than people think.
And nature is smarter than people think. Little by little, we lose our friends, we lose everything. We keep losing and losing till we say, you know, oh, what the hell am I living around here for? I got no reason to go on. But with you, kid, boy, I got a reason to go on. And I'm going to stay alive. And I will watch you make good.
And I'll never leave you.
And I'll never leave you until that happens. Because when I leave you, you'll not only know how to fight, you'll be able to take care of yourself outside the ring, too. Is that okay?
It's okay.
Okay. Now, I got a little gift for you.
I'll make you.
No, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Look at this. See that? This is the favorite thing that I have on this earth. And Rocky Marciano gave me that. You know what it was? His cufflink. Huh?
That's great.
And now I'm giving it to you. And it's got to be like an angel on your shoulder. Mm-hmm. And if you ever get hurt and you feel that you're going down, this little angel is going to whisper in your ear. He's going to say, "Get up, you son of a bitch! Because Mickey loves you."
Thanks, Mick.
All right.
I love you too.
See. Go after him, kid. Go after him.
You was the issue.
There it is.
What happened to his other couple?
I don't know. He only gave me one. He gave it to some bum.
So, a lot to talk about on that. It definitely takes place in the universe of Rocky 2. There's no way that conversation took place before their first fight.
No way.
Yeah. The relationship had grown more, obviously, as a father-son type relationship. Secondly, I love how he says, this little angel's going to whisper in your ear, "Get up!" Yes! It's not a whisper. He yells. I love that. I love that part.
I think what's really cool about this flashback of Burgess Meredith, not just to the character, but Burgess Meredith was like a very talented actor with an insane resume. And for Stallone to have scored him for Rocky 1 was like nothing short of a coup to get someone like him, because he really brought like validity to this whole series. Much like, what's his name, who was Obi-Wan?
Alec Guinness.
Right? So it was great that he was able to come back and do that scene at that level. Yeah. Right? Just and put forth so much emotion. I don't know if most people haven't seen this enough times and are insane like I am, but you can see he's old in this one here.
Sure.
But Mickey was old in
Rocky
one and two.
Yeah.
But he was kind of drooling a little bit there because he
Yeah.
was so passionate about what he was talking about there. So it's just the power. I remember seeing this as a kid. I kind of sunk in my seat and I cried to myself.
Oh, yeah.
When I was a little guy.
Well, just like Jeremy Jason there was saying, he watches this 2 or 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I couldn't do that 2 or 3 times a week. That's too many crying.
Yeah.
Too much crying.
Yeah, I've talked to grown men who tear up and cry during this scene. There's no shame in that. It's so amazing because Rocky, of course, at this moment is the lowest part he's been. He's lost all of his finances, security for his family. He's in the gym where he got it all, and his father figure's gone. He's just feeling really, really, really down right now. But that scene with Mickey saying, just, the angel be on your shoulder, and this cufflink. Just when he says, Rocky Marciano gave me this. It's this cufflink, and now I'm giving it to you. That's music swell, and as he's holding it up, it's just like, oh. So we see in Rocky 2, Apollo Creed is wearing a cufflink.
Yeah, we have to we have to look into this a little more.
But he says that Marciano gave it to him, and they gave it to some other bum. So if you really want to get deep into some Rocky trivia or speculation, we could argue that maybe Rocky Marciano gave it to Tony's camp, and then Tony gave it to Apollo, the same way Mickey gave it to Rocky.
Yeah, I could go on some theories that I have about the whole entire. That would take an entire episode.
Okay.
For me to elaborate.
Well, okay. What's your Cliff Notes version of who the other bum is that he gave?
No, I think it's I think it's Apollo, but Apollo's character is really based on Muhammad Ali.
Right.
Right. And Rocky Marciano had a little feud with Muhammad Ali back in the day.
Oh, really? They crossed paths?
It's not that they crossed paths. It's just that they were from 2 different eras of boxing.
Right.
And Cassius Clay at the time became Muhammad Ali, was very different and outspoken, and a lot of white people did not appreciate a black person talking that way.
No.
And so he was really chastised a lot. And Rocky Marciano was Italian, and his community did not, I guess, support that kind of behavior, and so he caught a lot of flack. And he was the only one. If you would call Muhammad Ali Cassius Clay, there's a few scenes out there on the internet, you've seen the movie. He did not appreciate that after he had been given his new name in the Muslim community.
Right.
But Rocky Marciano used to call him Clay, and Muhammad never, ever questioned him about it. And then later on, they did a computer kind of simulated fight to sort of drum up some money for the 2 of them that were in financial situations. So Cliff Notes, that's longer than a Cliff Note. But I believe that in this story that Apollo Creed's character was so great, which is why I am a firm believer that they need to make a prequel about Apollo Creed. I got to see the story of him, that he was so great and so amazing.
Yeah.
That he met Marciano, and Marciano gave him that because he was like, wow, you're a great champion. You're amazing.
So I think we're led to believe, it's funny, it wasn't until I did this podcast where I even considered the other cufflink going to Apollo. I don't know why I never caught on. Maybe it was obvious that it was...
No, that's a real tough Easter egg.
Okay, okay. So I'm not alone in that.
But before we move on, one thing that's
please.
The most important thing about this one here is this scene is that Rocky is at his lowest. He's down, but this whole thing is about when you're down, remember, get up, you son of a bitch, because Mickey loves you. Yeah. And so we're going to go into right after this, you can see Rocky's at the lowest point he could possibly be, and then he starts getting out of that hole.
Okay, good. We'll see if he does. Little tear falling down his face, Rocky's face. I think it's the first time we've seen him cry with a tear. I know he got teary-eyed with the coma, but did he actually shed a tear?
He cried. He cried in Rocky 2.
Oh, he cried in Rocky 3, of course, when Mickey died. Duh. Oh, here we go, the R&B version of Take You Back.
From the streets
cometh a man,
a fighter,
doing the best that I can
to survive.
Yes, in the survival of the fittest, strive for what is mine. The Lord is my witness. Many believe in what they see,
and I wonder,
what do they see in me? For a man, he must walk alone
to grow
and to bring his knowledge home. School of hard knocks is my alma mater. Ladies up, you know
it's easy. All right, let's go.
All right, so what's happening here for our audio listeners is they've moved back to the neighborhood. They actually are moving into Paulie's apartment.
Yeah, the old townhouse where Rocky 1 started, where he went in there and Paulie threw the turkey in the alleyway.
Is it the same place?
I think that they're alluding to it. We're in Rocky universe right now, so anything is possible. It's like what do they call that? The alternate universes and stuff.
I just wonder if it's actually the same. I know he says come move to my place, and they are.
Well, he says he's about to say it. He's like, it's good that I kept the old place, eh, Rock?
Ah, that's right. Yeah, good point. Good. And they got everything in this back of this pickup truck. They're clothes, basically. They have no effects. They just have clothing. And I love how everyone's standing around gawking at the failed ex-champion without helping him move in.
Yeah.
No one's lending a hand.
They're just staring at him.
Look at this one guy about to get Paulie's attention on the left there. He's got his hand on Paulie's shoulder.
I wonder what he does. I never noticed that guy.
I can't believe it. This kid's taking this too good. Yo, I got
Rock. Hey, Rock.
They're all
It's good I
cheering.
kept the place, right?
How you doing?
It saves money. Hey, get back. Right?
So Paulie's trying to feel like a bit of a hero here. He's kind of caused some of this.
He kind of.
So he's like, hey, it's a good thing I kept the place. It saves money. You guys don't have to pay extra rent or mortgage. You could just come crash. See, look, I'm good, right? I'm helpful.
Paulie's such a scumbag.
Oh, Paulie. So he's going to talk about how they can improve the place here.
Yo, I got Rock. Hey, Rock.
Well, somebody did offer their help.
Place, right? It saves money. Hey, get back. Right? A little aluminum on the front there. It's a winner.
So Paulie says a little bit of aluminum on the front and it's a winner. And Rocky actually looks up and goes, ugh, I don't think so. So everyone's like cheering, hey, Rocky, the champ's here.
Yeah, Rocky's back in the neighborhood. They all love Rocky.
Sure.
It's only temporary, man.
Come on inside.
All right, I think we're going to stop it there for this. What time did we start recording, remember?
Oh, I cannot remember.
Oh, darn it. Okay, so I think this next scene's... actually, no, we'll end up with that after this phone call.
Yeah, this one's a good scene.
Yeah, okay.
I think this is a good one to end it off on.
So Rocky's been welcomed to the neighborhood by fans and neighbors, and he's saying thanks, and then he turns to Adrian and says, This is temporary, honey. Don't worry, we're not going to be here forever. Again, I love his enthusiasm, his optimism. We'll see how long that lasts for. Does Adrian die in this neighborhood? I think she does. I mean,
I think so. Like when we're in Rocky Balboa, it's basically the same place, right? And it's a different place, and it's a different place in Creed, but it's the same place in the Rocky universe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And if it is a different place, they never left the neighborhood. They went back to the neighborhood, and that's where the Stallones stay.
Rocky Balboa, he still kind of mows around the neighborhood. He's got his diner and everything, but it's still kind of the kind of not the best part of Philly.
Yeah, it's the neighborhood. He's in the neighborhood.
So Adrian's in a room, and there's a rotary phone.
Phone.
For you kids who don't know, this is what a rotary phone looks like.
That's a telephone.
Yeah.
It's not. There's nothing it does except for you can talk to a person. That's it.
You can dial out, and you might have call waiting if you.
No, these ones
you could have call. Yeah, because you hang up and then you lift it up. The person on the other end. You could
on that one.
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah, if you got to, yes, I'm 99%. You got to remember to be a click. So you'd be on the phone.
Okay, it's been a long time, right?
Yeah, and you'd hear a click click. And that means somebody's trying to call.
No, yeah, you just hit the you hit the receiver.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been so long. Like, when was the last time you used one of those?
Oh man, yeah. And I love how call waiting now. If somebody's calling, you get the phone thing that says somebody's trying to call, and you get end and ignore or whatever. Yeah.
I still don't know why people even say hello. They know it's you.
Yeah. So the phone's ringing. Adrian's in her room, and let's find out who's calling Adrian this time of the night.
Hello?
Mrs. Balboa, George Washington took you.
Yes?
Mrs. Balboa, can you hear it? Listen close. You must be able to hear it.
Hear what?
The sound of the parade going by, of opportunity knocking. I mean, what's it going to take to get you people to realize I'm giving you a chance to pull yourselves together again? Let me handle your husband's career and the money will pour in. You can start living like human beings again.
Listen, Mr. Duke, we're living like human beings. You ought to try it sometime. Leave my husband alone.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
He's not wrong. All right, so yeah, we'll do our next episode.
Yeah, no, this is good. This is a good transition.
So George Washington Duke knows obviously the situation that Rocky and his family are in. He knows what he can provide for them, and he offers them a way out. I mean, he knows if Adrian wasn't there, he could get Rocky to fight again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love his character. George Washington Duke is a great antagonist. I think he's highly underrated in the franchise. I think it's partly because he falls into the Rocky V umbrella of nobody liking this film, or very few people. When there's a lot to like in this film, I think him, as an actor and character, he's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it's really good. Like Apollo is a great character. Mickey was a really great character, and some of the things that like fundamentally made them awesome was the inspiration for them, right? And of course, George Washington Duke's inspiration is Don King.
Yes.
Right, and then he just played it his own way, really, really well. It was cool when you had that interview. Like he really did explain it, and he said, "No, 100%, that was the thing." But yeah. I did my Don King, like right. I was the Don King. So he was a really great character. I really like the dynamics in this movie. Everyone gives it so much flack, right, and I have no feelings about it that are different from any of the others. I just feel it's like such a great addition to the saga, right? And then you go into the next and then to the next. That's fantastic.
Great. Awesome. So we'll stop there. So Andrew, thank you for coming on today's show.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me. It's a great time. I love it.
And spoiler alert, we're going to do another recording. So if you want to stick around and watch the next one, we're going to do episode 111. Andrew will be our guest host again, and we'll discuss further adventures of Rocky and the gang and how they're doing back in Philly. They definitely have taken it back. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Ding, ding.